voting is critical. It's how we make our voices heard. I want y'all to look at what's going on in Texas. I'm a native Texan. I'm a little scared, okay? I can't go back. But at the same time, that should motivate us. You know, we're coming out here today because we have two very wonderful candidates who we're going to hear from in a minute. I'll get to y'all in a minute. But I do want to acknowledge some of the elected officials. We have Prince William County Board of Supervisors Chair Ann Weeler. Over there. We have from the Potomac District and Vice Chair Andrea Bailey. Yay! So we had you come just call her because she is your representative here in the Potomac District. But I also wanted to take a moment to hear from the chair of the Prince William County Democrats about the importance of early voting. You know, we have some candidates, y'all, we're really fighting hard. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little frustrated because people think, oh, we got Biden, we got the president, we're all good. We're not. And I haven't seen as much, you know, people out there knocking on doors and stuff. So we got some folks around here with some clipboards. If you're so inclined, I'm actually having 2 canvases at my house on Sunday. No, it used to be 1 ounce. I need to go get some more water. But we really need you guys to come out and make sure that you're supporting our candidates. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tonya James.
Thank you. In last year, granted it was a presidential year, over 2,200 people voted on that first day.
Wow.
That includes Dropbox as well as folks that walked into the early vote sites. Today, 669 people voted throughout the county. Now, I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm saying we can do better. And how we do better is we talk to our friends and family about early voting because it's easy and convenient, and that's how we win as Democrats. Over 20% of our electorate votes during early vote. 20% is a lot. And thanks to amazing progressives like Delegate Elizabeth Guzman and now Delegate Candi King, Virginia is one of the most progressive states, the most progressive state in the South. 45 days of early voting. I don't like to call it 45 days of early voting. I like to call it 45 days of voting. 45 days of an election day. Because every day does count and it means a lot to Democrats. Last week, I went to the Department of Elections. They sent an invitation to both the chair of the Republican committee and the chair of the Democratic committee in each locality to watch as they test the machines. Because why wouldn't we want to go watch to see them testing the machines to make sure it's not rigged, right? So I went. I was there. They walked me through their entire process, how they test the machines, how they validate the machines are ready to go. But guess who wasn't there with me?
Republicans.
My Republican counterpart. But guess who they had as observers all in the way today in the early voting sites? The Republicans. Just in the way, looking for ways to try to disqualify this election as they tried to disqualify elections in the past. So when we talk about what's at stake, and Deshundra hit the nail on the head, we can go back to Texas, just like that. And we're not doing that. It's just not going to happen. They are well organized from the bottom up, just like in 2010 with the Tea Party. They're just taking a different approach to try to disrupt progress. But I need for all of you to be committed to not going back. So I need you to do everything you can. I know that I'm committed to doing everything I can to make sure that we send these 2 amazing champions back along with our entire delegation on November 2nd. So early voting is what? Easy and convenient. Let's try that. I gave you the answer to the test. Early voting is easy and convenient. You're going to talk.
I did too.
Of course you did. Yeah, you did. I need you.
How to get it done early.
Get it. There it is. And you don't need an excuse. I think that's important to know. You don't need an excuse.
Thank you, Democrats.
Thank you, Democrats. That's all I have.
As Tonya said, the Republicans are organized. She and I were both at an event a couple days ago with the school board meeting, and Tonya got the brunt of it, but you can see that there is so much hatred and just intolerance that's out there. And you know, you think that you're separated from it. You think just happens in DC, and you know they're going to be rioting, or the January 6th event. You think it's just over there, but it isn't. It could have, the event at the school board meeting could have turned into a January 6th event. Very, very.
That was the
easily.
intent. Just so that y'all know, that was their intent.
That was the intent. You know, they came out with bullhorns, and you know, just I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Not really. I think we focus on early voting and GOTV because it's easy and convenient. That's where we're going to go.
Our supervisor, Andrea, would you like to speak?
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is a pleasure. I've stood here in on this hallowed ground before, and it is a wonderful place to come and be with friends and talk about. Hi, Deanna. It's so good to see you. It's so wonderful to be able to come and talk to friends and talk about what's important to us in our communities and lock arms together to support, grow, protect our communities for our children. It's so important. Lisa called me today. She said, Andrea, you are going to be here, aren't you? I said, yeah, why? I didn't RSVP. I'm sorry. But she knows me. She's my neighbor. And I would not want to be here with you this evening. It is, as Tonya has said, it is essential, absolutely essential that we get to the polls and we vote for these two wonderful candidates. They are the candidates that will support us, that will lift us up, will do the right thing by us, will respect us while they're doing it, and will speak loudly about what is wrong and what is right. And so we need to support them. With Elizabeth Guzman, my amiga. I do love her sincerely. Elizabeth is very concerned about not just anything, but the entire landscape, particularly when it comes to social services and preserving that which we have already. And so I implore you to continue to do the good work. We are behind you. And to my other friend, Candi King, both ladies, I've known them for a very long time. I know their hearts. They are showing you their hearts. And their hearts is to do the work for us, not just for a portion of us, but for all of us. And so Candi always brings her living examples of why she's doing this. Her children, her kids. And Elizabeth just goes wherever we say she needs to go, she goes to tell her story. And so I am grateful that you sent me to the Board of County Supervisors in 2019, along with my friend Ann Weeler. Ann, I love you so much. And we are doing great work in this county together. And that's important, locking arms to do great work in this county together. And though we have a few distractions, as you will see at the board meetings, we do not stop. We still put our arms together to get the work done for you guys. So thank you for allowing me to come before you to break bread with you this evening. Thank you to Henry and Lisa for always opening up your home to us. Yes. And for your neighbors who helped to provide such an eclectic dining experience. We're glad for that too. But don't forget, if you are one, bring another 5 with you to the polls to make sure that they vote, and they vote early, because that detects the nature and the navigation of how this election is going to go. So I thank you for entrusting your vote to me. I ask that you entrust your vote also to these two wonderful candidates that live here in the community with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Supervisor Weeler, would you like to say a few words, Chair Weeler?
Thank you. I know everyone wants to hear from the candidates, and actually just our delegates, because they're wonderful. I'm so grateful to be here to support these two wonderful women. You know, when I started being more involved around 2010, and I look back on the changes that the General Assembly has made, even just over the last 2 years, and it's just incredible. And we don't want to go back. And so it's so imperative that we work. We don't take anything for granted, because it's not going to be easy, that we really work really hard to get Candi and Delegate and Elizabeth, reelected. Because without that, we really need to have that majority. Otherwise, we're going to lose the gains that they've done so well this year. And so, thank you for having us here today. And I want to do anything I can to help them get elected, because without them, we're even at a local level. We really need the state support for all the changes we've seen come down. So.
And I just wanted to introduce Sam Guerrero. He's Elizabeth's campaign organizer in this area. Elizabeth's campaign manager and Ben. So thank you so much. And without
Ben, it was from my campaign. Ben, it's my deputy fine.
Okay.
My editor.
Thank you so much. And without further ado, if you would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming today. I want to start by thanking Lisa and Henry for their continued support and for opening the doors, to do once again another event for my re-election campaign. Thank you so much for always your support. To the chairs of the Potomac District, Deshundra and Lisa, thank you. You guys are rocking the ball. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing to get everybody involved in the Potomac District. And thank you for the nice words from Andrea and Tonya. Thank you so much for your support. But listen, being an elected official, I would lie if I tell you it's easy. It's hard, but going to sleep knowing that people like you has my back allowed me to serve and allowed me to sleep at night, because I know that what we're doing in Richmond matters. So now that it's Hispanic Heritage Celebration Month, it is an honor for me to be elected as the first Latina immigrant in the state legislature, in the oldest legislative in this Commonwealth, not only to represent, my community, but to represent the whole state. And I wanted you to know that as Democrats, we're here not just to talk the talk, but actually walk the walk. And you can see that on the diversity of our candidates, starting from school board, city council, and county supervisors, and vice mayors and mayors across the Commonwealth, beyond Prince William County. So they are embracing the contributions that Hispanics have brought to this Commonwealth. And with Democrats in charge, we have also, when we decided to take the majority, we were uncomfortable with things that were going on at the national level. And we said that we wanted to fight for a Virginia where diversity was embraced and not disrespected. And after gaining the majority after 26 years, on the first 2 years, we hit the ground working. Starting by creating the Office of New Americans, because we wanted to ensure that any immigrant who chooses Virginia to establish a family and raise their children, they have a place within their state government to get acculturated with the American system. So they could go to their state government and find the services that they need as they establish here in the Commonwealth. We've been fighting with tooth and nail for health care, and you have seen that not only by providing health care to more than 500,000 Virginians, but also providing dental coverage to seniors, putting a cap on deductibles on insulin and inhalers, but also in that process, We needed to take care of everyone in Virginia. And we knew that there was a group of pregnant women who did not have legal presence in the Commonwealth and did not have access to health care. So last year we have also expanded prenatal care to undocumented mothers because everyone in Virginia matters. And health care is a human right and not a privilege. When we're seeing, children that go to school with our children, those dreamers, those children of farm workers, PPS, temporary status that have been here in this country for so long, and they did not have access to in-state tuition. We said they deserve to have access to in-state tuition, and that is going to happen if you pay taxes and behave according to the law. But you can get higher education if you are the children of, if you are a dreamer, if you are the children of farm workers, or you are the children of TPS workers, and now that's a law in this Commonwealth. So today is National Hispanic Heritage Month, but today is also Citizenship Day. And I wanted to acknowledge all of the immigrants that are on this Commonwealth. Those who have the courage to leave their country, to start a new life on this beautiful country. It's really hard to leave everything behind. I've been there. But, if it's not you, it was your parents or grandparents who came to this beautiful country to achieve the American dream. So we are very privileged to live, to serve in a place, in a Commonwealth where diversity is embraced and it is not disrespected. I want to also thank my friends for Casa in Action that are here, that have been with me all the time, in every election, and they have been also supporting, candidates running for office who are immigrants and are fighting for diversity as well. So I want to thank one more time everyone for being here. A special thanks to my staff for working extremely hard, for getting me reelected. I wish I could tell you that this will be the easiest election of my time, but unfortunately it's not. This district was held by a Republican for 26 years, two different Republicans. And the numbers are there, but it's gonna require a lot of work. So I will emphasize again that if you have any time to spare, to knock on doors, to make phone calls, or write postcards, please get in contact with Sam. Sam is here, and he will take your contact information so you can help us keep this seat blue. And I also I'd be remiss if I don't recognize and thank the County Board of Supervisors for presenting the resolution of Hispanic Heritage Month in this county. Thank you so much. I'm right now looking at the census numbers. Latinos are the largest minority on this county. So I want to thank them, but also thank you, because the Latinx community would not establish here in this county without your support and welcoming that neighbor when they are here, because we respect each other. And this is what this county is about, and diversity of this county is what makes the strength of this county and this Commonwealth. So thank you so much for having me here today. And let me introduce.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback on what Elizabeth is saying. Today I had a lot of folks help me prepare the house, and today I had a lady who came to clean my house. She was Latino. And she said, I cannot, I said, I'm doing an event for Elizabeth Guzman, and I invited her to come. She says, yeah, I want to come. I'm going to try to come. And so she said, I'm so grateful that my sister now can get a license, a driver's license. She could only get a job at Wendy's. And now she is able to get a job at Costco, and, just have advancement in her life, where she didn't have that available before. So you're making a big difference in people's lives. That's really what matters. Another champion for our community is Candi King, Delegate Candi King, who's running for re-election. And let me present you and have you say a few words.
Okay, so I forgot to tell Lisa and Deshundra, I never want to go after Elizabeth. But thank you all so much to Lisa and Henry for hosting, to Lisa and Deshundra for pulling everyone together, and for all you're doing to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. Now, I represent a lot of magisterial districts, and I don't have favorites, but I have to say, my home of the Potomac district is really knocking it out of the park this election season. So thank you. Thank you to our chair, to my supervisor, for just leading the way with so much grace, for showing us how to lead in the face of such vitriol and ignorance, and just showing up and doing the work for this community that we love. So thank you. And Madam Chair, I can't thank you enough for all that you've done and what you're doing for the party here and for the people here. So for those who don't know, I'm Delegate Candi Munden King. I was elected a whole 9 months ago. A long time ago, right? A whole 9 months ago, I went to Richmond. I ran a campaign in 17 days, went to Richmond, passed 6 out of 7 pieces of legislation, and I was able to make some moves for our special needs community, for our business community, for our retirement system, and we were able to do some groundbreaking things. All of that changes if we are not re-elected. So we need your support. For everyone in this room, I ask you to commit to knocking doors, to making calls, to donating what you can. Because for us, for both of us, this is a turnout game. And we know that there are folks in this community, rain, sleet, or snow, they will come out, and if they see an R beside the name, they will vote for it. So we have to bring our people out. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that the 2nd District is so diverse. So to be here to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with our own Latina superstar is just a pleasure for me. Let me just say, I saw a commercial and it said, Elizabeth Guzman is too weak to fight against. I said, well, wait a minute. You can say a lot about Elizabeth Guzman, but no one has ever called her weak, because we know that she is a strong voice, she is a fighter, and we are so grateful for everything that you're doing for the Latinx community here, and for all of us to lift us. But for those little girls in our school system, in our communities, who see you, who hear your story, you're such an inspiration. So thank you for continuing to be that for all of us. So let me just tell a little story, because I'm between us and the beautiful music that I'm excited about. But let me tell a little story. I went to the early voting site at the DMV this morning, and there were signs that said something like Colombians for Trumpkin, or Youngkin, whatever his name is, and El Salvadorians for Youngkin. And I thought to myself, I know my community. I know the people who live here, and they think so little of my Latinx brothers and sisters that they think they can put a country on a sign and people will say, oh, gee golly, let me go vote against my own interests. That is the type of behavior we're seeing in this election. That's what we have to fight. We have people who will come into our community and they love our food. Let's go have Peruvian chicken. They love our music. Let's go dance. But they will turn around and go into rooms and vote to decimate the same community. They don't care. I don't care how many signs they put up. The election of these people on the Republican side will be devastating for communities of color. So we have to remember that we have to turn out the vote. We have to turn up the energy, and we have to fight the lies that they are spilling. On November 2nd, you can vote for a governor, lieutenant governor, delegates, attorney general who have been fighting for communities of color, who understand that culture and heritage is more than a Confederate flag, who understand that bilingual children are brilliant children, and they deserve the best education. So that is what's on the ballot. The richness of the Hispanic culture, the richness of indigenous culture, all the things that make Northern Virginia such an amazing place to live, these people want to suppress. So trust me when I say everything is at stake and we need your help. Commit to volunteering, donating what you can, and let's come out and shock them on November 2nd.
Between the two of you, I think it's a toss-up.
I'm even looking at Elizabeth, she's like, we going shopping after your lunch.
See, the difference is she canvases in those shoes.
I didn't want to be amiss and not acknowledge my dear friend Nelly Zapata, who is the person who's responsible actually for bringing our great artist here today, and my friend George Newcomb, who introduced me to Nelly. Nelly's from Bolivia, where I grew up, so she's from La Paz, and I have a home in Cochabamba, so we have a little bit of rivalry going on there, but
The masks. Remember, I thought you doing the masks.
oh, yes, and then Yvette Jurado-Robles is here, and she, during the early days of the pandemic, she sold about 4,000 masks that we donated across she's from Bolivia. She's a wonderful photographer, and I think she's doing this live on.
Yeah, you're live. Come on.
Okay, so
Look, those masks are both with them.
They're very well done. It's like a work of art.
Thank you.
My friend Brenda, Diana Paguaga, Arun Sinha, Diane, Liana, Bill, Purnima. I'm trying to remember everybody who's here, but thank you so much for coming. And Henry, if you don't mind, if you can introduce our pianist for the grand finale of our event.
Okay, well, thank you. I want to mention before I introduce Mr. Miranda, that we're very gratified to Elizabeth Guzman, who really inspired Lisa and I to get involved in politics.
It's your fault.
locally.
It's your fault.
We used to be active locally in politics in New York, and then there was a lapse where we bowed out, and then after Lisa met you, we were really inspired because you're more than a politician. You're a wonderful person and a real inspiration.
Thank you.
And Candi King is close too. She's a wonderful person too. I'll introduce you to a wonderful pianist. He's a very, very well-known pianist, musician from Latin America. He originates from Bolivia. His name is Luis Alberto Rojas Miranda.
That pronunciation, Henry, you're so good.
And he was born in Cochabamba, and he was musically classical trained. He was taught by his father, who was the founder of the Oscar Rojas Musical Academy, and then he went on to graduate from the University of Minas Gerais in Brazil, which is a very famous music school we belong to an organization called the Pan-African Association, which is an NGO at the United Nations, and we were involved years ago in helping promote that music, and so Mr. Miranda is also a classically trained musician, but he's also expanded his palette, where he's integrated crossover music, he's integrated Bolivian folkloric music, and he's created a whole new style performing. And so he's also a musical producer and arranger. And we're very happy to have him, and we really thank you for coming. And it was not a litmus test, but he did tell us that, you know, he's from Bolivia, he's going back in a few weeks, so he doesn't vote here. But if he was here, he'd be voting Democrat. So welcome. Thank you.
Bueno, es un gusto para mí, bueno, primero agradecer a Lisa y George.
It's a great pleasure to be here and to thank Lisa and George.
Y pues, muy agradecido, me gusta mucho esta reunión.
I'm very happy to be here at this beautiful event.
Y también agradecer a Nelly
To thank Nelly.
el contacto para poder participar en este mes tan importante.
It's very special month.
Y me parece muy lindo el hecho de que se recuerde pues la herencia hispana, me parece muy lindo y más aún yo poder participar.
It's very important that we're recognizing Hispanic heritage and that he's able to participate.
Voy a tocar un poco de todo lo que es el repertorio de música latinoamericana.
He's gonna play a repertoire of Latin American music.
Mi formación es clásica, pero he dedicado mucho a lo que es la música latinoamericana en el piano y también un instrumento que se llama Tonya, que voy a poner una demostración.
His training is classical, but he has expanded his repertoire to include folkloric music, and one of the instruments that he's going to be combining in his performance is called a sanfonia, or as many of us know, as the pan flute.
Muchísimas gracias. Y espero que les guste. Bueno, la primera es una canción que todos me imagino conocen, Cuando pasa, de Perú. Y quiero pues también hacerle un homenaje de música peruana. Voy a hacer un vals más, también muy conocido, espero que sea del gusto de todos ustedes.
The first piece that he's performed is called the Condor Pasa, which is a very popular tune. A lot of people recognize it. It's originally from Peru. And so in honor of our candidate, Elizabeth, he's going to be performing another Peruvian piece.
Bueno, ahora voy a ir un poquito por otro país, Argentina, con un tango.
He's going to play a tango from Argentina.
Awesome.
Ahora voy a hacer una pieza folclórica boliviana que es considerada clásica, pero folclórica, porque fue compuesta por un compositor académico y que es muy reconocido en el ámbito pianístico. Es una cueca de Simeón Roncano, que es un compositor clásico boliviano.
He's going to perform a cueca, which is a very traditional Bolivian piece. It's a piece that you normally dance to, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be getting on my feet and dancing with Nelly here.
Later.
But it's composed by Simeón Roncano right now, yeah.
Esta es una cueca para escuchar y la próxima voy a invitar a Patrice para que pueda bailar una cueca más alegre.
Okay, this is the one, this is a cueca that you need to listen to. The next one, he's going to play a cueca you can dance to.
Everybody has to do.
to Argentina for another tango.
Thank